first Nobel Prize, Japanese Nobel Prize winner in literature was announced. His name is Yasunari Kawabata. And ever since then that I was aware that his fictions, Snow Country is the one, and The Sound of Mountain, the other one. All these books that I was aware, but I never attracted to his books because I think when I was trying to read his book, for example, the most famous one is The Snow Country. I didn't like that particular story because it depicts the very old Japanese sentiment of very traditionally bound culture and the relationship between man and woman. Man is always more or less like a dominant, and the woman is always subservient. And the fiction itself, I think Kawabata writes about the Japanese value for beauties and all these things, but at the same time he is also from background of very traditional Japanese values, that I really hated at that time, even when I was as young as maybe teenager. I didn't like his very kind of a somber, sad Japanese depictions of life in general, and I didn't like it. So for a long time, I kind of I decided I didn't like him, and I don't like his style. I didn't like his subject matter. So I didn't read it. But well, why not? By now I'm old enough to appreciate this Japanese beauties, depictions of a relationship between man and woman. I decided to read books, and this year I got a little bit, probably the summertime reading. I looked for the book in my possession, and I found this book called A Thousand Cranes. Thousand Crane is the paper folded origami. Yeah, origami art for the crane, birds that Japanese people values because they live all of the time side of probably longevity or happiness or whatever, something like that. So especially after the World War II, after Hiroshima bombing, I think many people fold this particular craze origami for praying the peace and never nuclear war or whatever it is. So that's the thousand crane. They usually fold thousands of them, and so. But anyway, this particular story is nothing to do that, and it's something about this young girl. One day, this protagonist, a young guy who saw this young lady who is having this particular handkerchief or bag or something like that, which has this thousand cranes motif in it, and that's the only reason that this particular fiction was titled Thousand Crane. And it's about, I would say, the ephemeral Japanese sentiment of the beauty, especially tea ceremony beauty. And so I think author is very aware that tea ceremony is a traditional Japanese values, and it's a beautiful Japanese culture. And so he showed every page that how they value this tea bowl called shino. Shino is originated probably around 15th century or 16th century, a long time ago, when tea ceremony was evolved at the time, and all the samurai was doing a tea ceremony. And so at that time there is this shino tea bowl, which is mainly white colored probably, but it's very rudimentally made, but it's a beautiful art type of thing. And in the tea ceremony, you have to remember that after drinking tea, you kind of say something about this teacup, how beautiful it is, and so forth. So it's for people who does the tea ceremony, the collections of those cup and tea bowl is the very important. And so I didn't know anything about this shino bowl, but after researching, it is a tremendously beautiful piece of art, and I really like to have that type of things for everyday tea drinking, for example. But in my possession for a long time, I think 10 years, 20 years, I think this particular tea bowl in my possession was there. And wow, I don't remember where I got this. And so I was kind of observing and looking at them, and it turns out at the bottom there's my son's names in there. So wow, is this he's making it? And I asked my son, and he said, "Yeah, I made it when he was." He said, "I made it when I was about probably 7 or 8 or 9 years old. Went to this place that teaches how to make ceramics, and he made it. But it's a beautiful piece." And I said, "Wow, that's stunning." So that's my another hobby. If I have time, if I have energy, I like to make those bowls and plates and a cup with ceramics. I think that's beautiful art. But anyway, so this is about a story of a man. I think he's about 23, 24 years old, and he was kind of a wealthy family person, but his mother died and also father died, so he is pondering selling his house or something. But in the meantime, there's a lot of women who used to came to the house because some of them are lovers for his fathers. And so that would tell you at least 2 women depicted there, older women, but probably he used to be, I would say Mekake, which is the father is married, but he could have this woman lovers beside his marriage. And that's very customary when you are rich, probably, because he can afford to make a living and support these women as well. So those sentiment is there, and also the arrangement marriage sentiment is there. The people get married very quickly when arrangement was suitable without knowing each other, they get married. So those sentiment is there, and also one of the things that bothered me from onset reading this book, I think from the beginning of the first page of this book is about this older woman who has this birthmark in her breast, and that particular birth, because of the birthmark, I think she wasn't considered to be a marrying material, marrying kind, because she had this ugly birthmark in her breast. So yeah, so she remained single, but she became a father's lovers, I think. But anyway, so those depictions of just because the birthmark today, I think for everybody's mind, is just natural things or whatever. It's nothing to be ashamed of, and probably by surgery you can to remove that. But it's about that, and so this particular story starts that showing the Japanese sentiment that you're not a woman anymore because you have a birthmark, and that's a terrible thing to say. Terrible custom or terrible tradition. That type of thing is becoming a hindrance of women's happiness. And so I didn't like that, but I kept on reading, and so I realized that while I start to read, it's almost all of their writing is about this relationship of man and woman, especially woman, who is kind of subservient to the man. Therefore, they are not happy. Usually, they are not happy, and they cry a lot. Somewhat like unhappiness of life or whatever, and so it shows that particular scene of female characters either not happy or crying and a little bit complaining, but accepting, and all these things are there, and which is furthermore I hate that particular storyline. But nonetheless, this particular book, Thousand Crane, is a beautiful book. It's you can see the author is, I think, trying to make a story of Japanese beauty, what the Japanese art, the beauty of Japanese arts are, and what is the particular sentiment relating to those tea ceremony and art, especially painting and the literature, something like that. So as I went along, I started to get a little bit attracted to this type of writing, and of course he got the Nobel Prize when he was writing the Snow Country, the so forth. That was 1958, and very worldwide read book now, and many people like his book, and I kind of see that it's a beautifully, I think, beautiful depictions of Japanese sentiment, Japanese art, Japanese scenery, nature. All these things is depicted there. How those flowers are blooming, how the flowers are used for the tea ceremony, and how this particular tea house has lots of trees, shrubs growing around the tea house, and you have to appreciate those beauty. And So it is depicted very, very nicely in there. So yeah, I think I changed my mind. I would read more Yasunari Kawabata because I think that's worthwhile read there. I think it is quintessential Japanese fiction, which is all nothing to do with the Western style of writing. For example, like Haruki Murakami would never read Kawabata's. I don't think he likes the Kawabata's type of Japanese fiction, and so yeah, it is very, very different genre, and but majority of Japanese people, because of they're in deep into steeped into this culture of Japanese beauty or whatever, so they really enjoy that type of writing, and writing is beautiful. So I think I could tell this is a translated book, but I could see how he wrote in Japanese as well, and yeah, that could be the particular style is very strikingly beautiful. And I think also, I understand now, also is trying to depict that particular Japanese sentiment. So most of his book is about this Japanese culture. I don't think he's exposed to the Western culture that much when he was writing all these things. Or maybe he was exposed, but he wasn't trying to depict the other Western cultures or anything, and he essentially is interested in depicting Japanese culture, Japanese beauty, nature, flowers, and something like that. So in that sense, I think it's very, very nice to know that particular genre or particular writing existed, and I really appreciate it now, because of course I miss Japan and Japanese culture. So some of them are very dear to me, even though I hate this sad rules of Japanese human relationship. They are connected to each other because of this particular traditions or because of the customs, type of thing that you don't have much freedom in there, and so it's pretty much against my nature, but I can still see the beauties in there. So I'm going to read it. So after reading Southern Craze, I would read more, especially the Snow Countries and all the Old Capital, which is another one. I would read that, and so yeah, I'm glad that I haven't. I started to read this Kawabata's book at this age. I'm glad that happened. For me, living in the U.S. and thinking of Japan, reminiscing the beauty of Japanese art, Japanese nature, tea ceremony especially, and so yeah, that's very interesting to me. Realizing that I'm a late lovers of books, and finally I came down to this first Nobel Prize, the Japanese author Yasunari Kawabata. Okay, bye.